ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. One seeker has asked his master this question in a satsanga. Master, if my life is my responsibility and no blaming is allowed, then what is the role of fate in our life? Then the master responded like this: My dear, though you have raised this question, you have raised the same as a representative of all the seekers sitting here, as the same question is lingering in their minds. You see, the moment you start believing that something outside of me is in control of my life, you start feeling that everything is in control of that outside force and nothing is in my control. And that way you forget about your responsibility towards your life. You see, to the largest extent, as long as you believe that way, it is like this: you are not studying well because of genes. So once you are convinced of this belief, then you do not adopt any practices which the teacher has prescribed for you. Similarly, if someone is suffering from diabetes and he is told that it is because of genes, then if you believe that to the full extent and stop exercising, then you have made your belief strengthened and you stopped putting your efforts in that direction. So, as long as you think that I am in control of the force outside of me, then you start applying that belief in all aspects of life. That means you feel that you are a puppet in a puppet show and nothing more than that. See, whatever the forces are there to control you from outside. They may be there, and let us not bother much about those forces. See, if you will understand that our life is governed by two factors. Our the choices you exercise in your life, and we can call it, or we can make it as x axis. In your life you exercise some choices in that axis in your life. Then there is y axis. Y axis is that cosmic force or karma or whatever you call it. See, you have to basically understand that nobody is going to live as per his expectations on the x axis, fulfilling all his desires and all that. Because when you execute certain choices, they may be successful or may not be. They may be successful if the expectations are fulfilled. Similarly, there is y axis. So, because of that force, nobody can become a victim because of that force. So, you will have to understand that the human life runs and governs mainly on this xy plane. So, the connecting factors between the x axis, that is your life, and y axis, that is the cosmic force, is human intervention by way of executing your choices in your life in various circumstances. You see, a master said, if you want to go to a temple, if you board the bus and get down at the temple, you will reach the temple. It may be otherwise also. If instead of you were getting in bus and the bus gets on you accidentally, then it is not the fault of the bus, because you have to be aware and alert and use your brain and common sense in boarding the bus. When you fail to exercise that human choice, then do not blame the fate or otherwise. So, the point here is you have that choice of executing. So, the choice which lies in on the axis of life in the humans is to do whatever they have to do to the fullest extent. You have to do what you have to do in any circumstances or in any context. And then the cosmic force on the y axis, how it interferes and what is that effect on your choice is fully, it is not your control. What is under your control is to exercise and execute the right choice in those circumstances. So, when you execute and do whatever you are required to do to the extent possible, then with your finite intelligence, then it is not known what the infinite intelligence has in store for you. You see, whatever happens and in whatever circumstances, you have to execute your counter choices. Whatever the circumstances are, you have to execute your counter choices. So, in executing the counter choices lies the human growth. Only that spirals the growth in life. So, the people say it is bad times or certain period, 7.5 hours, 7.5 years and all that. Here, what you have to understand is when you continue to do whatever you have to do, then suppose in a business, instead of making a regular profit of say some 100 crores, when you continue to do whatever you are doing, then you may end up with only a less profit of 80 crores or so. But it does not mean, bad times mean, it does not mean that you end up in losses altogether. So, the way in which you perceive whatever you hear from outsiders, you have to perceive in a positive way in your life. When they say it is bad time, you may end up with less than your expectation in life. So, that suppose you are driving on a road, there is a signboard of speed breaker ahead. Does it mean that you stop driving and bring the vehicle to a grinding halt? What you have to do is you have to continue driving on the road with more alertness, with more awareness, reducing the speed, concentrating on the road rather than on accelerator. So, when you take all these precautions, you will be able to cross over the speed breaker smoothly without stopping anywhere in driving. So, it is only a signpost. So, like that, you have to do whatever is required to do and whatever you are able to do by exercising your counter choices in whatever the circumstances or consequences. So, you have to feel that my life is not shaped by the consequences or happenings, but by the choices, counter choices which I execute in those circumstances or happenings, which ensures the growth in my life indefinitely, continuously, on a regular stream of divine. So, when you put your best, then the merciful God, the merciful divinity will reflect itself in your executing your counter choices in those circumstances. So, that is the mercy of the divine in one's life. So, thank you.